Hello guys, welcome to this series of Node.js tutorials. Many will follow, so stay tuned. So today I'll be showing you how you can create a basic Node.js application which will do some basic routing, render some views including partials, and use Express for all of this. If you're not sure what routing exactly means or rendering views means, just keep watching and it'll be clear. If you already have experience with other languages, I'm thinking of MVC, ASP.NET, stuff like that, and you already know kind of how things work, well, you'll be really it will be really easy to follow this, and you'll be up to date with the Node.js technologies in no time. So first of all, open a folder and open Visual Studio Code here. Let's do this. So if you haven't done that, you can say here open folder, and you can make a new folder like this, and then you say Node.js apps. Here we go. And you say select this map. I already did that, so that's useful. The first thing you want to do is we're going to use Express. What's Express? So many people don't know this, but Express is a web application framework that provides a robust set of features for web and mobile apps. It's one of the most popular frameworks nowadays. For real, it's really popular among Node.js developers. A cool feature about Express is that it doesn't force you to work in a certain way. If you compare this to, for instance, Laravel, which forces you very much, Laravel and PHP of course, which forces you very much on working in a certain way. So today we won't do everything the right way, I can guarantee you that, or a good way, but you will understand the principles behind creating a Node.js application, and in the end of the day you'll be able to show your Node.js application. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. This file is going to be an app.js file. So oh wait, we forgot something very important. Because it doesn't stand here, usually I already created this, but for the purpose of this tutorial I didn't. So you want to create a package.json first. This describes your entire application. So the first thing you want to do is open your terminal. You can open your terminal by pressing Ctrl+U. Here we go. Or you can open your terminal right here. If you go to View and you go to where is it? Here we are, Integrated Terminal. This is really useful. I love to use this terminal. It's so nice. I don't have to switch windows all the time. I can use the feature F11 as well to use a full screen setup, which is really useful. So yeah, I like that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start creating your first file. This is going to be a package.json. You don't have to click here. You do it like this. You can say npm init. Here we go. And this is going to start asking you some questions. What's the name of your app? So today we're going to say Node.js app. Sorry, you can't use capital letters, okay. The version is going to be 0.0.1. What's your description of your app going to be? Well, I like to say something like, this is an app that will create doing the basics of Node, or showing off the basics of Node.js. What's the entry point? Yeah, that's okay. What's your test command? That's fine. We don't really have a Git repository. Keywords aren't useful either. I could say RDZ final roundster here because I am the author. And what's your license going to be? Let's say it's an MIT license. And is this okay? Yes. And now you're going to see that your editor, has a new file here. And this is going to be package.json. And over here you have all this kind of cool stuff. You have the Node.js app. This is an app that will create showing off the basics of Node.js. Your main files here, your scripts. So what you're going to do first is right here in scripts, you're going to say I want to have a new script which is going to be start. This is like some sort of a convention in Node.js that you do this, and you can say here node app.js. Here we go, and that's all you have to do. This is basically a convention done by most Node.js developers, that you put a start here. It's node app. You don't have to add the .js there. So, okay. So the next thing you want to do is create a new file here, and you're gonna call it app.js. This is gonna be your main application file. In some tutorials and some books, you're gonna find that they're using server.js and many more. Well, in this case, it's gonna be app.js because we're making a web application. So let's do the next thing. So we're gonna say var express is require express. Oh, wait a second, we forgot something very important. So what we want to do here is we want to import express. But in order to do that, we have to install express in our application. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use Node Package Manager again, so npm, and we're going to say let's get started npm, and then we're going to say install the next things. So what do we want to install here? So right now we have nothing of extra plugins of Node modules installed. So what are we going to install? We're going to install some other Node modules. So the first module we're going to need is going to be Express. Express is the module that I talked about. This is the web application framework that will help you out. So you're going to say npm express -- save. What is this going to do? Well, this is going to install Express in your Node modules folder, which it is going to create here. And the next thing it's going to do is it's going to save this in your Node modules folder, data. So now, if everything's okay, it should create a Node modules folder, but it didn't appear to do that. Oh, wait a second. It's npm install express save. That's what I forgot the install. I'm sorry, boys. So and then it's gonna install express for you. Note this package.json here while it's installing. So we're gonna wait. Here we are. So you're gonna see that it's adding a dependencies option in which we set express to a certain version. What is useful to this? If I'm typing npm install later on, when the Node modules don't exist anymore, the folder doesn't exist anymore, it's gonna install these express modules again. But for now we're gonna just keep going with this. So we have an app.js, and we required express already, which is now installed right here in our Node modules. The next thing you want to be doing is you want to be sure to create something extra as well. So the first thing you're also going to need is var path is require path. Path is actually is a library which will enable you to search for paths, basic directories, to join paths and stuff like that. I'm talking about folder paths, okay? So you can do npm install, same way. You're going to say path, and you're going to say -- save. And again, you're going to see it appear right here. So we're going to do that. Just a second. Here we go. And it's added it as well. What else do we want to have here for now? I think we're good for now. I think we're good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say var app is express. So right now we're adding to this variable here the express application. And the first thing you want to do as well is say app.set port, and then you want to say process.env port is going to be port 3000. There we go. So for now, this is going to be already a good application. What we can do already is say app.listen. So, and then we're saying app.get the port. This is actually going to be port 3000 because we added this variable here. And then we're going to say function, which is going to be an internal function, an anonymous function. Here, oops, here we go. This is going to be an anonymous function, and right here we're going to say console.log server started on port. We're going to add some stuff here. Add.get the port. So this console.log is going to, when we start the server, it's going to appear here. Note that I set a start script, which is going to execute the node app command. This app is basically nothing but run this file here. So when I do npm start now, it's going to look for this command here, and it's going to say, oh, okay, I have to do this. So let's do that. So the first thing we're going to do is npm start, and now it's going to say server started on port app.get port. Here we go, it said it. So that means we're fine. Right now there's nothing going to be there. If I run, so I'm going to do this real quick to the local host here. Let's do that. So just a second, here we go. It's going to say cannot get. The good thing is that we don't really have anything else here. So it's a good thing that it basically says this. I'm gonna have to open a, here we go, it says cannot get. It's an error as well. Why is this? Because we don't have any routing so far. All we have so far is just a basic Express application, which is going to do nothing but listening on a port and doing this console.log when it listens, when it starts listening. So now we're gonna have to add some basic routing to our application. So what are you gonna do for routing? Well, there are many ways to start to do routing in Node.js, in the sense that you can, organize your code in many different ways. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit better practice than most tutorials. What most tutorials would do is they're just gonna add some routing in here. They're gonna say, let's do the routing in here, in the app.js file. But I don't want, for the beginners of you, I just want to show for certainty that this is not a good way to do that. So we're just gonna add a new file, which is gonna call routes.js. Here we are. And routes.js is gonna be a file which we will use for routing. So the first thing you want to import here is the same things as we've done so far. You want to require Express here. So that's something you have to import. And then you can get started. You can say var the router is equal to express.router. What is this going to do? Well, this is going to say, listen, the router we're going to use in this application is stored in this variable. And all I have to do now is say router.get / and I can open a function which is going to have some parameters here, rec and res, and it can also have next if you'd like to. For now we're just going to go with rec and res. The next is for the next video. So you're going to see in some other books and tutorials this is going to have a next value. This next value, don't think about it right now, it's not important right now. So we're going to go back to res. So what we're going to do is say res.render, and we want to render an index file, for instance. So what we're going to do is say render the index file. What is this going to do? Well, when we go to / so localhost double point, / 3000 / or whatever, the basic path, the starting path, we're going to render a view which is going to be index. But right now we haven't created that view. We'll do that soon. Just comment this out and set to here console.log hello, I'm on the basic view here. Yeah, I'm on the basic, let's say I'm on the start page. Here. So this is not over yet. You want to do something important, which is going to be setting your router in your app, because your app right now doesn't know that you created your router here. So how are we gonna do this? Well, I'm gonna show you. It's really easy. It's the easiest thing you can imagine. You're just gonna say add.use my routes.js. So you could say routes here. Oh, but wait a second. We haven't imported this yet. So we're gonna have to import this. How do we do this? Well, you're just gonna say for routes is equal to require./routes. That's all you have to do. And this routes here is just this file. So ./routes is the root directory /routes.js. So now that routes is stored here and we passed it on to the application variable, we know for certain that this application will go through this and create this. But wait a second, we have forgotten a very important feature, which is we have to export this. You know, if you ever worked in traditional programming languages, you're gonna know that when you have a certain, object you created, you have to return it. Or certain layers of your application have to communicate with each other, you have to return some sort of information. Well, in Node.js, we're doing it like this: module.exports equals router. So right now, with this thing here in routes.js, the app.js will know that routes.js basically uses this router. And that's a very important part. So module.exports is the way in Node.js to communicate with your files, etc., and with your logic basically. But we're not gonna go into depth in that because you want to see how it works first, right? So, but remember this is a way you export your variable within this module to different modules. This is basically communication between modules in your application. So the next thing you want to do is run it and test it, right? So what we're going to do here is you're going to tap Control-C here. You're going to say, yes, I want to terminate the batch job. And you're going to say npm start again. Here we go. And now you just wait, and here we go, we have a start. And what you want to do now is open up your browser. My preference for now is Firefox, but you can do anything. And you're just going to localhost double point, and you're saying 3000. Hello, I'm on the start page here. Can you see this? It logs it, which is a good thing. Which means your application gets here. But that's all it does. You're gonna have an error because it's still stuck here. It says, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do now. I know that this router gets here, but it doesn't do anything, right? So what we're gonna do now is you can terminate the batch job again. So Control-C, yes, here we go. And what you want to do now is you want to start creating your views. And this is a very exciting part for the people who are very oriented towards results, because you're going to see a lot of results. So let's start with creating a new folder, which we're going to call views. Views are very important because it allows our application to separate our business logic from our representation of the app, which is a really cool thing. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do with the views is creating some files. The view files in Node.js, and I chose for this, is going to be a .ajs file. An AJS file basically stands for Effective JavaScript Templating. It's basically a templating engine for Node.js. I love it. There are other template engines you might prefer. Check out Jade, which is a very popular templating engine, and there are many more. But I chose for .ajs because it has a very simple way of doing templating. So you want to add a new file here, and in this case we're gonna say underscore header.ajs. And underscore header, the underscore means that this is going to be a partial view. Well, you guys might be wondering, what's a partial view? Well, think of it, a partial view, as a sort of a web application in which you divide in blocks. And you want the header, you know, with the navigation bar and stuff, always to appear on top. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put that part in a partial, so you don't have to recreate it on every single new file you make. And this way you can just import this partial and keep using it. It's the same way with the footer. The footer of a web page you usually stays the same throughout the application. So you're gonna create a partial for that, so you don't have to recreate it, and you can reuse this piece of code. And that's basically what we're gonna do now. So you're gonna create a partial, and that's gonna take a while. So let's be fast here. So you're gonna say doctop doctype HTML. Gonna add some HTML here. I hope you guys are familiar with this. So what you have to do is create some tags here. Here we go. Charset is UTF-8 or something like this. I think that's right, yeah. And then learn or basic. Let's say basic Node tutorial. Let's call it this. There we go. Title. And we're gonna add a style sheet as well. This is gonna be a bootstrap style sheet we're gonna add. This is because, you know, we don't want to do too much CSS ourselves, and for this purpose of this video it would take too much as well. So that's beyond the scope of that. So let's just add this here. I'm gonna add the link in the description so you guys can easily add this. And I might add the entire AJS file as well, if you think it's a waste of time to just keep typing all that. So we're gonna start off with creating a navbar, which is gonna be a navbar default. The role is gonna be navigation. Here we go. And within that, we're gonna create a small container. Here we go, which is gonna have some header like this, and then, you know, thank God for Bootstrap, you know, that does all this. It's really useful. And we're gonna say, here we go, link, and this is gonna be the Node tutorial. Here we go. Yeah. And then again /div. So what we're gonna do as well is create a navbar, right? This is just gonna have some basic, you know, navigation stuff. So let's say we're gonna call this navbar right. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but we'll see. I don't know all these things, you know, by heart. So then we have the list item, which is gonna be, you know, let's say some extra page, so about maybe, and let's call this about, and let's also create this one here, which is gonna be a let's call it a login page, maybe. Why not? We can use this later on. So let's say log in. Here we go. And then we want to close this right here, and close this div as well, and then close this div here as well. So that's what we've done so far. Now the next thing you want to be doing, if this is correct, this works, right? Yeah, okay. So what we want to be doing as well is, well, I think we're almost there. We're gonna open a container, which is gonna be useful for closing it later on. So this works. That's good. So the next thing you want to be doing is you want to create a new partial view, which is gonna do quite the reverse of all this. So you've opened the body here, and now you want to close the body in a file that you keep on doing this all the time, right? So you're gonna add a new partial view. So let's click here, say new file, and this is gonna call footer.ajs. And in here we're gonna just add a div, add a body, and add a HTML closing tag. So those are just closing tags. We're not really doing anything with footer. You could add a footer tag here, which did some more stuff like this, which does some more stuff for you. For instance, linking to your Instagram account or your Facebook account or whatever, social media and call out section, whatever you want. But for now, we're just going to keep this empty for the purpose of this tutorial. So this works already. But remember, in routes.js here, we want to render the index page. So you can uncomment this. And we don't really have an index page yet. So hey, we're going to have to create one. So let's create a new file here, and let's call it index.ajs. Index.ajs is going to be our file in between of header and footer, and it's going to be our main page basically. So what do we want to put there for now? Well, the first thing you want to be doing is include the partials. So you're going to say include underscore header percent and again a closing tag. What does this mean? This is the way you write AJS. AJS is basically the templating engine, and doing this is gonna search for underscore header.ajs, and it's gonna include it into your HTML document. And we're gonna do the same for right here. I'm gonna say include underscore footer, which is gonna include the footer, right? And then we want to have some basic homepage text, right? So we're going to say, hello, welcome to my first Node.js app. Like this. Then maybe, you could add some extra stuff. But for now, we're just going to do it like this. So this is going to have your title in here, your header, which we created over here, and your footer, which closes everything off. Very useful to work in this way. So let's take a look. What we've done so far is creating basic views with basic routing. But we want to do some more, right? Now we have to be sure that everything still works. You might be wondering, how does Node.js know this? How does it know which view to pick? Well, let's go to our app.js. We have to do something very important here, which we haven't done so far. What do we have to do? Well, we're going to have to tell our application, we're going to have to tell Express which view engine we're going to use and where our views are located. We already required a path import here, and this is why we're going to use this. This is why we imported this. The first thing we're going to say is views. So we're going to tell Node.js, we're going to tell Express where our views are. In this case, this is going to be either directory name, and we're going to say views. So basically we're telling Node.js that our views are located right here in the views folder. And then we're going to have to tell them which view engine we're using. So in this case, we are using AJS, which is the JavaScript templating engine we use right now. You could be using Jade, you can be using many more, but I prefer AJS for this tutorial because it's a really simple thing to use. So here we are, and that's basically all we have to do to make this work. And you will have your very first Node.js application created the right way. So let's get started and let's fire this baby up. npm start, and the server started on port 3000. Let's take a look at our outcome, and right here we have a problem, and this is gonna happen a lot. So what we're seeing is it cannot find the module AJS. Whoops, we forgot something very important here, and it's gonna be the AJS module, which we haven't created yet. So if you're gonna look at your packages, your dependencies here in your package.json, we're seeing only Express and path. I forgot to import a very important one, which is gonna be AJS. and that's the templating engine. So you're gonna say npm install ajs -- save, and now you're just gonna be entered, and it's gonna install it. And normally, if everything's correct now, it should work the way we want it to work. And let's hope for sure that it does. So this is why this is the error when you haven't imported a module yet. So let's try it again now, and here we are. Welcome to my first Node.js app. We're seeing a little bit of weirdness here. So hello, I'm on the start page, still recording this. If you click a lot, you're gonna see that a lot. And right here we seem to have turned this into a link. That's pretty special. And these guys aren't really aligned, so let's take a look. I thought my bootstrap skills would have solved this problem, but we're gonna take a look why that is. So this is a problem and this is a problem. So let's take a look. We're going to index.ajs. Yeah, we're gonna have this, so it's gonna be in the header. Chances are that I did something incorrect that I should have done before, and it's probably gonna be some class maybe. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Okay, here we are. Nav for right. Yeah, that seems to be all okay. I'm closing every tag, right? The container, yeah. Okay, that's pretty special and new. No navbar header, navbar brand, href, no tutorial. Okay, seems to be okay. So what could be the problem is that, well, I think so, that we just haven't really said how far this can go, right? That could be it. So probably if you're opening the expector, which is a useful tool, you can do this by pressing F12. You can just look here, and what you're gonna see is that we appear to have you know, a link right here, and then we have another link right there, which is kind of weird because, you know, they are supposed to be in the the list item element. So what I'm guessing is that I'm not sure about this, is that we're just not closing our our link elements. So here we go. Yeah, that I was kind of going too fast. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you can forgive me this. I'm just gonna leave this in because, you know, debugging is a big part of coding, and you know, it hardly something works the first time you do it. And here we go, and this is how it's supposed to look. So stay tuned for the next video, because we're gonna add in login and sign up functionality. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something new today, and if you have any questions about how this all works, just leave them in the comment section. I'll answer your questions as fast as possible. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and hopefully I see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.